personal liberty. Um, in times of peace, covers with a shield of its protection all classes of men. Yeah, at all times and under all circumstances. Right. Now, I'm going to want the protections of the Constitution. Yeah. Isn't that why you support and defend it? Ex parte Mulligan, from which these words are quoted, is justly deemed one of the great cases undergirding civil liberty in this country in times of war or other great crisis, holding that except in areas in which armed hostilities have made enforcement of civil law impossible, constitutional rights may not be suspended, and citizens subjected to the vagaries of military justice. Now, when I told you I wasn't in Squim, yes, you decided to prosecute me. Yeah. When I told you that I wasn't in Brennan, you decided to prosecute me. When I asked you what it was about in Brennan, yeah, you decided to issue a failure to appear that has the wrong information on my driver's license. Is it military justice that Clallam and Jefferson County are involved in? Yes. Well, you said I was crazy. I gave you the evidence and you wouldn't exonerate me. I gave you the evidence of forgery. Yes. Fraud. Civil rights violations. And you refused to remove your military justice? Are you militarized? Um, this migration or importation of such persons, section number 9, clause 1? Yes. This had to do with the importation of slaves by the states for 20 years after the adoption of the Constitution, when considered with the section requiring escaped slaves to be returned to their masters. Yes. Now, I've been enslaved right now. I can't leave the state because you won't change my driver's license back to 2204 East McLaughlin Boulevard. I would be deported. I would be exported. I would be extradited. Oh, you would just wait to make up another false crime. Um, Such persons that were not embraced within the term citizen as used in the Constitution. It's just a historical curiosity. Now, if you're the direct descendant of a slave, yeah, probably means more to you than it means to me. Sounds mean, or this writ of habeas corpus, yeah, shall not be suspended unless the case of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. Yes. Now, this clause, yeah, is the only place in the Constitution which the Great Writ, is mentioned. Ooch. Strange fact, in the context with regard to with which the right was held at the time of the Constitution was written, 1771. The American reception of the writ of liberty. The writ of liberty. Now, if you were to issue one of those writs and you used my driver's license number, would you issue it for the wrong individual? Ouch. See, you just can't say it's Paul Budnick, can you? You can't say that I'm 255 pounds. You have no identification for myself as a citizen of the United States. You cannot you could not issue the great writ in my name because you can't identify me. I have no state identification. Yes. I have no federal identification. No. Now, come to play to constitutionalize federal and state criminal procedure. Yes. Now, usually this great writ that happens to be found in the Constitution, yeah, only the federal government and not the states. It has been held obliquely, is limited by the clause. The issue that has always excited critical attention is the authority in which the clause places the power to determine whether the circumstance warrant the suspension of the privilege of the writ. The clause itself does not specify, while most of the clauses of 9 are directed at Congress. Not all of them are. 1775, 1774. In form, of course, Clause 2 is a limitation of power, not a grant of power, and is, in addition, placed in the section of limitation. It might be argued, therefore, the power to suspend lies elsewhere, and that this clause limits that authority. This argument is opposed by the little authority there is on the subject. Yes, but can you issue a writ of habeas corpus to an individual that has no identity? You completely disregarded my being a citizen of the United States and these other federal laws that I'll probably talk to you about tomorrow because I put some documents on my drive. Yes. Some of them require an actual driver's license. Now, it's bad enough that you found me incompetent to stand trial. Yes. So as to suspend my voting rights. And it's bad enough that you suspended my right to be included in the census. Yes. But really, what you did is you said, well, we do not have to enforce the Constitution. And since I have no identification to prove my actual identity, there's no possible way that you have to enforce the writ of habeas corpus. Are there certain parts of this Constitution that you have the discretion to enforce and not enforce? Because as I remember it, yes, my record was expunged. Oh, as I remember it, my sons were taken from me without any due process. As I remember it, you said that you could do anything that you want because you're the Superior Court judge. And then I give you the information, right? That that you've made the writ of habeas corpus no longer a right of myself. Now, let's see here. First through 10 amendments. It was not until 1887 that a litigant contended that although the Bill of Rights had not limited the states, and yet so far as they secured and recognized the fundamental rights of man, they were privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States and were now protected against state abridgment of the 14th Amendment. Did the state of Washington abridge my 14th Amendment rights? No due process. No privileges and immunities? No. If I have a problem, I should motion the court. Well, what about my identification? Is anybody going to investigate why my weight is different on my driver's license? Are you going to investigate why I have shrank 2 inches? Is there some possibility that somebody changed the address on my driver's license and you're going to sit there every day as if this state can't